Lama has announced a long-awaited plan to devolve his political responsibilities to an elected figure. The Dalai Lama said he would begin the formal process of stepping down at a meeting of the Tibetan Parliament in exile next Monday. Well, the announcement came in a speech by the Dalai Lama marking the anniversary of the 1959 Tibetan uprising. George Yates is from the Bath Tibet Support Group. George, good morning.
Good morning.
True to say, though, as I mentioned in my introduction there, that this is something which the Dalai Lama has been trying to force in for many, many years. Do you think the Tibetan people are ready for it? Because the Dalai Lama is, after all, he's been their champion for years, hasn't he?
Yes, it's hard to say, really. I think the bulk of them don't want him to step down, but the bulk of the diaspora outside of Tibet probably see the good reason for this, because he will be able to then concentrate his efforts on the spiritual aspect of Tibet, but he will let a younger person with more energy rush around the world on the political side.
I believe that there's 3 successors in the run-up to this, or is there just the one now? But they're all lay people, aren't they?
Yes, I don't know who they are, but yes, I think they are all lay people, and some of them are very outstanding, I'm sure. I have met the Dalai Lama's London representative, who's a very impressive person.
Apparently Beijing they're a bit dismissive of this move. Do you think there's any chance it will help improve relationships at all? It's somebody new coming in who doesn't have that political affiliation will do better than perhaps the Dalai Lama has done.
Well, there is that aspect to it. One would hope so, because for years they've been labelling the Dalai Lama as a splittist and the sole cause of all the difficulties between China and Tibet. So a new slate is possibly a good idea from that point of view.
Dalai Lama coming up to, his 76th birthday?
Yes, that's right.
What happens, obviously, when he dies or does he step down, or is it like the Pope, he will be replaced when he passes on?
No, he dies in office, but I think he's going to take a lesser and lesser part. He's always said that he'd like to retire to a monastery and be just an ordinary monk.
I see. But if and as and when he dies, when somebody else takes over, the new Dalai Lama, so to speak, would they still go along with the wishes of which the present Dalai Lama is contemplating here?
Yes. Well, of course, the new Dalai Lama, the 15th, would be a child. So he would have a big period of being trained up for this, and there would be a regent in the meantime. But they presumably would be guided by the wishes of the Parliament, of the government in exile.
And is the whole business with China, is this the big stumbling block as far as Tibet is concerned, that they're still sort of basically not compatible, both countries?
No, I don't think so. I think China wants Tibet, and they're concentrating on this because it is a bit of a smokescreen, really, for their real motives in taking over Tibet for mineral wealth and for military purposes, really.
I see. And obviously that's something which the Tibetans themselves, you can understand why they're a bit concerned here.
Well, yes. I mean, the Chinese are quite bold about this. For example, the second senior Lama in Tibet, the Panchen Lama, is a young man of 21. He had his 21st birthday recently. He's been in detention, and it's unknown where he is, since he was a child of 6. And they have replaced him with their own puppet Panchen Lama. Well, this is not a sort of honourable, open thing to do. But the Western world have not. They've raised their voices about this, but nothing more.
That was just going through my mind here, because we hear so much of other countries, United Nations, always picking up on those who are countries and organisations and people that are suppressed. But there seems to be little mentioned here about the plight of people in Tibet.
No, because it's trade and money, I think, unfortunately, which controls it all. So there'd be too much to lose for themselves, for ourselves, for the British government and the British people, were we to absolutely split with China over Tibet.
An interesting story to follow on and see what happens and see the reaction of China.
Yeah.
George, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
That's a pleasure.
Have a lovely Sunday. Thank you. That's George Yates from the Bath Tibet Support Group.